A tree almost never ruins a front yard because it's ugly. It ruins the yard because it got bigger than anyone planned for. You've seen it on your own street. A little tree goes in next to the porch, knee-high and charming, the kind of thing you buy on a Saturday without thinking too hard. 10 years later, it's pressing against the gutters, throwing shade over every front window, and somebody from the power company has come by and cut a big notch out of one side so it doesn't touch the service line. The roots have started lifting the edge of the driveway. And now the fix isn't a weekend of pruning. It's a chainsaw, a stump grinder, and a check you didn't want to write. The good news is that none of that is bad luck. It's a size mismatch, and you can head the whole thing off at the garden center before the tree is ever in the ground. So here are 7 small trees that give you what people actually want from a front yard tree: spring flowers, summer shade, fall color, a little winter structure, without crowding the house, the driveway, or the wires overhead. I've sorted them by the job you need done, so you can match the tree to your yard instead of guessing. One of them I'd only plant in the right part of the country, and I'll tell you exactly where that line falls. And at the end, there's a 2-minute measuring trick that does more to prevent a 10-year mistake than anything else in this video. A quick word on timing, because it's the 4th of July and I'm not going to tell you to go plant a tree in the heat this weekend. Summer is for choosing. In most of the country, fall is the better season to actually put a tree in the ground. The air cools off, the roots keep growing while the top of the tree rests, and the plant settles in before next summer asks anything of it. So think of the next couple of months as your window to measure, shop slowly, and buy the right thing once. Here's the trap almost everyone falls into. The tree in the nursery looks small because it's young. That number on the tag, the mature height, is easy to skim past. And the mature width usually isn't printed there at all. But a front yard is a tight space with a lot of fixed edges. The wall of the house and your windows, the driveway, the public sidewalk, the front walk, and almost always an overhead line running power to the house. Sometimes there's a septic field or the water and sewer line heading out to the street. A small tree is the one that still respects all of those edges when it's full grown, not just on planting day. And let me take the scariest part off the table right now. A small ornamental tree is very unlikely to crack a solid foundation. That fear gets oversold. The real ordinary problems are simpler. Roots lifting a sidewalk or a driveway slab over the years, and roots competing with a septic drain field. Smaller trees have smaller root systems, which is exactly why they're the safe choice near pavement and pipes. Distance still matters, but you're not planting a wrecking ball. You're planting something that fits. Let's start with the tree that does the most jobs at once. Number 1, Serviceberry. If you only have room for one tree and you want it earning its keep in every season, Serviceberry is hard to beat. In spring, before a lot of the neighborhood has woken up, it covers itself in soft white flowers. By June, it's carrying small purple berries that taste a lot like blueberries. The birds usually get to them first, and honestly, that's part of the appeal if you like a little life in the yard. In fall, the leaves turn a mix of yellow, orange, and a dusty red that can be genuinely striking. And in winter, when everything else is bare, you're left with smooth gray bark and a fine, twiggy frame that actually looks like something instead of just a stick in the ground. Botanically, it's Amelanchier, and you'll see it sold as Serviceberry, Juneberry, or Shadblow. It's hardy roughly from Zone 4 through Zone 9, which covers most of the country. It takes full sun or part shade, and in the south, it actually appreciates some afternoon shade. It likes moist, well-drained soil, but it's adaptable, and it has decent tolerance for clay. Most landscape serviceberries are still genuinely small trees, but the width depends on the species and cultivar. Some stay around 15 to 25 feet tall and 10 to 15 feet wide, while others can mature closer to 15 to 25 feet wide. So do not buy Serviceberry as a generic label. Read the exact cultivar tag, especially the mature width. That size is the whole point. It's a real tree with presence, but it isn't going to swallow a one-story house. 2 honest notes. Those June berries do drop, and the birds make a cheerful little mess, so it's not the tree to hang directly over the spot where you park the good car. And because it's in the apple family, it can pick up cedar apple rust in some regions, which is more cosmetic than serious. Plant it where you can enjoy the flowers and the fall color from a window, give it water through its first couple of summers, and it mostly takes it from there. That one's a generalist. The next one is all about a single specific moment in spring, and it comes with a warning. Number 2, Eastern redbud. Nothing announces spring quite like a redbud. Before the leaves even show up, the bare branches light up with little pink-purple flowers, sometimes right down the trunk. Then the heart-shaped leaves fill in, and you've got a soft, layered little tree for the rest of the season. Eastern redbud, Cercis canadensis, is native across a big stretch of the eastern and central United States, hardy from about zone 4 or 5 up through zone 9. It's happy in full sun or part shade, and isn't fussy about soil pH, though it doesn't love drought or soggy ground. Now here's where I have to slow you down, because redbud is the perfect example of why this whole video exists. People think of it as a small tree, and the height is small, usually 20 to 30 feet. But the straight species spreads wide. We're talking 20, 25, even 35 feet across at the crown. Plant that 2 feet off a front walk because it looked dainty in the pot, and in 10 years, you're ducking under your own tree to reach your front door. So if you want a redbud near the walk or in a tight spot, buy a compact named variety on purpose. Ace of Hearts stays around 12 to 15 feet in a tidy dome. The weeping types, like lavender twist, stay even smaller and act almost like a living sculpture by the steps. Save the full-size species for an open spot where it can spread the way it wants to. A couple more honest points. Redbud is a little shorter lived than some trees, and it can be bothered by canker and verticillium wilt, especially when it's stressed. So don't beat up the trunk with a string trimmer, and don't plant it where water sits. The seed pods drop in fall, which is minor litter. The roots are fibrous rather than aggressive, which is good news near pavement. And deer will browse a young one, so protect the trunk early if deer move through your yard. So far, we've been in the sun. Let's go to the spot that defeats a lot of front yard plantings, the corner that only gets filtered light. Number 3, Kousa dogwood. A lot of front yards have a spot under a bigger tree or on the north side of the house that gets dappled light instead of full sun. People keep trying to grow sunlovers there and keep being disappointed. That part shade corner is exactly where a dogwood belongs. But here's the part that saves you money. The native flowering dogwood, the classic one everybody pictures, is genuinely beautiful. It's also prone to a disease called dogwood anthracnose, and it's most at risk in exactly those cool, shady, humid spots, especially if it ever gets drought-stressed. So a lot of people buy that dogwood, plant it in the shady corner, and then watch it slowly struggle. The Kousa dogwood, Cornus Kousa, is the easier path for most yards. It's the Asian cousin. It blooms a few weeks later, usually late spring into early summer, with white pointed bracts sitting right on top of the foliage, and it's noticeably more resistant to anthracnose, more cold hardy, and more drought tolerant than the native. You get raspberry-like red fruit in fall, reddish-purple fall color, and mottled peeling bark for winter. 4 seasons again, in a tree that runs about 15 to 30 feet tall and wide, hardy roughly zone 5 through 8. It does have preferences. It likes acidic, well-drained soil, and can look a little pale and washed out in high pH ground. It has shallow roots, so a couple inches of mulch over the root zone keeps it cool and happy. Just keep the mulch off the trunk itself. In the hotter parts of its range, give it that afternoon shade. And it flowers on old wood, so if you ever need to prune, do it right after bloom, not in late winter, or you'll cut off next year's flowers. The fruit is technically edible for people and attractive to wildlife, but it does drop, and fallen fruit can ferment or attract yellow jackets. So once again, I would not put it directly over the parking pad, the front walk, or a spot where a dog grazes on whatever falls. If your problem is the opposite, a hot, sunny, baking front yard with lousy soil, the next tree was built for it. Number 4, smoke tree. Some front yards are just brutal. Full afternoon sun bouncing off the driveway and the house, thin or rocky soil, and not much patience for watering. Most pretty little trees sulk in those conditions. The smoke tree shrugs. Smoke tree, cotinus, gets its name from the show it puts on in summer. Hazy, pinkish-purple plumes that hover over the plant like puffs of smoke. Many of the popular kinds also carry deep burgundy or gold foliage all season, then turn orange and red in fall. It actually wants the tough stuff. Full sun for the best color, lean and well-drained soil, and not much water once it's established. Rich soil and overwatering give you a floppy, weaker plant, which is the opposite of most things you buy. It runs about 10 to 15 feet tall and wide in its common form, hardy from around zone 4 or 5 through 8. Left alone, it grows as a big multi-stem shrub, but you can train it up into a small single-trunk tree, and that's a great look by a sunny entry or along a hot strip where nothing else thrives. It's also one of the more deer-resistant choices on this list, since deer tend to leave it alone. 2 cautions worth knowing. It can be susceptible to verticillium wilt, so don't plant it where that disease has already shown up in your soil. And it's in the same plant family as sumac and cashew, which means the sap can irritate sensitive skin. Nothing dramatic, just wear gloves and long sleeves when you prune, especially if you tend to react to that kind of thing. If you'd rather plant a native, there's an American smoke tree, Cotinus obavatus, that's a bit larger and every bit as tough, with knockout fall color. If you've been waiting for fall color specifically, the next one is the showpiece. But it comes with one big condition. A quick note before we keep going. If you're the kind of person who'd rather measure once and buy the right tree, then replace a wrong one in 5 years, that's the whole point of this channel. Practical plant choices, with the catch explained before you're standing at the register. If that's useful to you, go ahead and subscribe. Number 5, Japanese maple. Almost everybody wants a Japanese maple at some point. The lacy leaves, the layered branches, the fall color that can stop you on the sidewalk, it earns the love. The reason so many of them look sad in front yards is simple. They get planted in the wrong place. Acer palmatum is a part shade tree at heart. Those thin, delicate leaves scorch in hot afternoon sun, dry wind, and drought. The edges go brown and crispy by midsummer, and people assume the tree is dying when it's really just standing somewhere it never wanted to be. The fix is easy. Give it dappled light or morning sun with afternoon shade, especially the farther south you are, and plant it in rich, well-drained, slightly acidic soil that doesn't dry out. It does not want wet feet, and it leafs out early so a late spring frost can nip it. Most do best in roughly zone 5 through 8. Now, about size, because this is the maple where people get fooled in both directions. There are dwarf weeping forms that top out around 6 to 10 feet and stay there for decades, which is perfect for a small bed by the entry or even a large pot. and there are upright kinds that reach 20 to 25 feet. They're all called Japanese maples, so you have to read the specific variety, not just trust the word on the bench. The roots are compact and not a foundation threat, but with a larger upright type, give it about 10 feet from the house anyway, so the canopy isn't scraping the siding later on. One regional caveat that most sellers won't mention. In parts of the mid-Atlantic, Japanese maple has started seeding itself into nearby woods, and a couple of areas now flag it as invasive. If you live near a natural woodland, it's worth a quick call to your local extension office before planting. Japanese maple is not usually treated as a major dog or cat toxicity concern, but I would not sell any maple as something pets are meant to chew. If you keep horses, be more cautious. The maple horse owners are most often warned about is red maple, Acer rubrum, whose wilted leaves are dangerous to horses. Around a pasture, ask your vet or extension office before adding maples at all. The next tree is for the narrowest, tightest spot in the front yard, the kind of skinny space most trees can't handle. Number 6, disease-resistant crabapple. Crabapples are a cautionary tale and a great choice at the same time, and the difference is entirely about which one you buy. The old-fashioned crabapples earned their bad reputation honestly. They catch apple scab, fire blight, cedar apple rust, and powdery mildew, drop their leaves by August looking half naked, and pelt the ground with big squishy fruit that rots into a slippery mess. If a crabapple's tag says nothing about disease resistance, walk away. There are over 800 kinds, and you only want the resistant ones. Here's why a good crabapple is worth the trouble for a tight space. There are narrow, upright varieties bred specifically to stay slim. Adirondack, for example, runs about 18 feet tall but only around 10 feet wide, with a strong column shape, a heavy show of white flowers opening from red buds, and small, half-inch, long-lasting orange-red fruit that the birds clean up instead of leaving to rot. It has excellent resistance to all 4 of the major diseases. That combination, vertical and tough and tidy, is exactly what you want squeezed between a driveway and a property line, or in a slim bed along the front of the house. A few things to keep in mind. Disease pressure changes by region. Scab is the big problem up north, while fire blight is more of an issue in the south. So the smartest move is to ask your local extension office which resistant varieties actually perform where you live. Crabapples want full sun and can sucker from the base, which is a 2-minute pruning job once a year. And a pet note, the fruit flesh is fine, but crabapple seeds and leaves contain natural cyanide compounds. So if you've got a dog that eats everything in the yard, the wilted leaves and the seeds are the part to be mindful of. Choosing a small fruited variety keeps the litter and the temptation way down. That's 6 trees that work across most of the country. The last one is spectacular, but only if you live in the right place. Number 7, crepe myrtle. If you've driven through the South in late summer, you've seen crepe myrtle doing what almost nothing else does, blooming hard in pink, white, red, or purple for weeks on end when everything else has quit. It's heat-proof, it shrugs off drought once established, it has beautiful peeling cinnamon bark for winter, it gives you fall color, and it happens to be non-toxic to dogs, cats, and horses. It's a wonderful small tree, and it has a hard geographic line. Crepe myrtle, Lagerstremia, is reliably hardy from about Zone 7 through Zone 10. In Zone 7 and 8, it's solid. Down on the Gulf Coast, it's a staple. But push it north into Zone 6 or colder, and you're rolling dice. In a tough winter, it dies back to the ground, and you end up with a big resprouting shrub instead of the tree you pictured. If you're north of that line, admire it on vacation and pick a different tree from this list. If you are in crepe myrtle country, 2 things will save you years of frustration. First, buy a mildew-resistant variety. The breeding program at the U.S. National Arboretum produced a whole group of hybrids, and they're easy to spot because they carry Native American names like Natchez, Tonto, Sioux, Tuscarora, and Muskogee. They hold up against the powdery mildew that wrecks the older types. Planted in full sun, which also keeps mildew down. Second, do not let anyone top it. That brutal practice of cutting all the branches back to ugly stubs every winter, sometimes called crepe murder, ruins the natural shape and the gorgeous bark for no real benefit. Choose a variety whose mature height fits the spot, and you'll almost never need to make a big cut. One newer thing to watch for in parts of the South is a bark scale insect that leaves a sooty black film, so ask locally whether it's in your area before you plant. Pick the right size, the right variety, and the right zone, and a crepe myrtle is about as much summer payoff as a small tree can hand you. Now the part that ties all 7 together, and honestly, matters more than which tree you pick. Before you buy anything, do this. Find 2 numbers for the tree, its mature height and its mature width. The width is the one nurseries love to leave off the tag, so look it up. Your county extension website is the most reliable place, and it takes about a minute. Then take the mature width and cut it in half. That's your minimum planting distance from anything solid: the house wall, the driveway edge, the sidewalk, the property line. If a tree matures at 20 feet wide, you want its trunk at least 10 feet from the house, so the branches aren't raking the siding a decade from now. That single step prevents most too big regrets before they ever start. Overhead wires get their own rule, and local utility guidance matters. The safest, simple version is this: do not plant anything directly under a line that could grow into it. Many utility guides reserve the space near wires for trees that mature under about 20 to 25 feet, and medium or large trees belong farther away. If a line crosses the exact spot you want to plant, check your utility's right tree, right place chart before buying, because the power company will prune for clearance, not for shape. This is why compact cultivars and true small trees matter so much in a front yard. 2 more quick checks. If you're on a septic system, keep trees well clear of the drain field so the roots don't go hunting for that moisture. And before you dig the hole, call 811. It is free, and it helps get public utility lines marked before your shovel finds gas, electric, cable, or water the hard way. Just do not assume it marks everything. Private irrigation, septic, landscape lighting, drain lines, or lines running to a detached garage may require your own records or a private locator. If you want a second opinion before you buy, tell me in the comments what's around the spot you're eyeing. Is it close to the driveway, the front walk, the windows, a property line, or is there a power line running overhead? Drop your USDA Zone 2 if you know it. That's usually enough for me, and for a lot of folks here, to point you toward the right pick. Here's the one thing to take with you. The tree that overwhelms a front yard almost never starts out looking like a problem. It starts out looking adorable in a small pot, with a tag that only tells you half the story. So measure first, look up the mature width, glance up for the wires, and buy once. Do that, and 10 years from now, you've got the shade and the flowers and the fall color you wanted, and not a single regret with a chainsaw attached. If you want fewer 10-year yard mistakes and fewer expensive do-overs, subscribe. Then go measure that spot while it's still on your mind.